Here is our first litter of piglets of 2024. Today we were giving them their iron shots, and we're also going to be castrating them. I decided that I wanted to be able to castrate these guys by myself because sometimes it's hard to have a second person to help you and get these guys done at a reasonable time frame where you're doing them when they're really little. It's a lot easier to do them when they're little. They're easier to hold down. They just heal better, and they are in a lot less pain. So if you can get it done when they're a lot younger, that's better. So I actually just whipped up this little jig to set the piglets in and hold them down for me out of some scrap wood I had laying around and some screws, and it actually worked out really well. It did the job for me just fine. So I was able to get all the boys in this litter castrated and dealt with, and now we don't have to worry about doing that later when they're bigger. Now, I'm sure everybody has a little bit of a different way of doing this, a little bit of a different method or technique, but this is what I do on our farm, and this is what works well for me. It might seem a little bit barbaric or cruel to be doing this, but it's really important that you do castrate these guys when they're little, and usually this is a job for the farmer, not a veterinarian. Again, another reason why you want to be doing them when they're really small is that they are not in pain for as long and they heal up a lot faster, so it does a big service to the animal. Anyways, my process of castrating goes like this. So first I put on my disinfectant solution on the area of the piglet that I'm going to be cutting into, and what I use is warm water and Dettol, and I wipe them down really good first, and then I make sure I keep my scalpel in there as well, so it's always in the disinfectant solution. I disinfect it between piglets and anytime I have to set my knife on the ground. So once I'm done disinfecting that area, I take my scalpel and I cut a slit into the one testy and I pull it out. When they're really little, it's a lot easier to pull it out. When they're bigger, I find that it's sometimes easier to just cut that big stringy line of tissue, but when they're really little, it just pulls out, and that's easy enough to do. And they also heal up really quickly. And then I do the other testy, pull it out, and after I'm done all that, then I put some more of that disinfectant solution on the area to make sure that it's really clean and to help prevent infection. And then another thing, of course, that's really important as well is when you're going to be putting them back with their mom after this, make sure they have a lot of really good clean bedding. We use straw. That's what I would recommend using. Just make sure it's really, really clean so that they do not pick up an infection. That's the most important thing. But all of this really takes only 30 seconds to a minute at this point, so it's a little tiny bit of pain that they feel, but then they're done, they're dealt with. They've got their shots, they've got their castration done, and I really don't have to bother them anymore after this until they're weaned. So more about this nifty little jig that I made. I know that you can buy an actual device that holds your piglets down, but they're very expensive and totally not necessary because I just built this one myself. It took me like a minute to make this thing, and it worked just fine for this application. But basically what I did was I had a rough cut 2x6 for the floor, a couple scrap 2x4s for the sides, and a little piece in the front, scrap piece of wood, and that holds their head up. And then I put some screws on either side of the board, tied some baler twine to it, and I just used that to keep the piglet held in place and keep their back legs from getting in the way. And I'm still using my hand to kind of push their back legs out of the way and keep the skin stretched over the scrotum as I'm cutting into each side. And I make my cut. Once I cut far enough down where I can see the testicle, I kind of pop it out with my other hand and pull it out before it slips back in. And after that, I rip it out and put some more disinfectant solution on, and that's it, done. The whole process takes me maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And that's it. Thanks again for watching.